What's going, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Road to Results podcast. I'm Rye. That's Ray. That's right. Either way, you slice that pie. And as you can see, we have a very special guest with us today, y'all. Eva Palacio, aka the Credit Coach. All right, and today we are going to get to know her a little bit more. We want to share a little bit of her story, and more importantly, share all that she does and what she brings to the world with all of you. Yes, the platform looks a little different, but we are working with what we got, y'all. All right, so just know that, like life lesson, work with what you have. So first and foremost, Eva, welcome to the Road to Results podcast. How are you doing today?
I am doing fabulous, and I absolutely love the look.
We're representing. I when I walked on, I saw Mr. Ray Jones there. And who do you got? Whose jersey is that, bro?
Oh, that's the late great Derek Thomas, one of the greatest outside linebackers to ever play the game. And then
tell us about that robe, because we were asking about that robe earlier.
Okay, so I've worn this one time. It's at an actual Chiefs game because it was in November in Missouri. But I had this made in Korea like in 2017, 16, 17. Yeah, but it's full up.
I know. Look at that.
Full body.
Okay. That right
full
there.
Body. Yeah.
Stuff.
So
we out here representing. Right?
Oh, we got a custom. We got a
custom. All right. Number 29, bro. Rizai in the building. So, hey, it was.
But I had to show up because I know both y'all are bang bang Niner gang.
That's right.
So I couldn't show up here and just be the. And I know everybody out there. You see all the memes on social media that this is the Super Bowl they did not want. They root for the underdog until the underdog becomes a king, and then they want to see them fall. Nobody ever wants to see anybody win. But I know my sister Eva does. I know she does. That's why she's here.
Hey, that's it. Exactly. That's it. You know what? Nonetheless, I'm excited to be in the bowl. Win or lose, staying faithful. Win or lose, we are staying faithful.
That's right.
So, Eva, do us a favor again, because many of our audience may, definitely you're a familiar face in our community, but our community, the Road to Results community, is growing, and there might be some new faces watching, or there will be some new people watching. So if you could just give us a little background of who you are, where you're from, what you do, and how'd you get into all the things that you have going on.
Yeah, no, definitely. And shout out to you guys. Amazing podcast. You've got some amazing people being interviewed. So I'm just truly honored to be here. What's up, guys? I'm Eva Palacios. I am known as the Credit Coach. I reside here in Stockton, California, but born and raised in the Bay. I didn't get the memo to wear my jersey. Otherwise, I'd be sporting Joe Montana. A little bit about me. First and foremost, I'm the CEO and founder of EmpowerYou Financial. It's a financial literacy and credit education company. And really this all started when I landed, I would say, my adult job at 17. I started working for a credit counseling company and worked there for 17 years, learning all things money, credit, and finance. And I, like many, we're taught to go to school and get a good job and stay there till you retire, until the company goes through a merger, and they do what companies do. They get rid of top level paid employees, and I was one of them. And I was devastated because that was my first job. Still to this day, I don't know how to make a resume, but that's okay because I truly believe that, God forced me. He was like, you're playing too small. Like, you're comfortable in this job and you're getting paid really, really good money, but now you've learned a skill set, and now it's time to give it to his children and really teach people about financial literacy. So, walked away from the job and turned entrepreneur and got with the right people. My number one coach, mentor is Dr. Eric Thomas, and really just learning how to build business, learning how to build relationships and, grow communities. And long story short, that's how EmpowerYou was created. So now we're teaching people the true meaning and the true ways to manage money and build their finances so that they can be able to do the things that they want to do.
I love it. And real quick, so after, and thank you for sharing that, right? Because I think that, I always love the origin stories. So when you got let go from the last company, what was it that made you go, you know what? I want to continue to stay in this industry, but I'm going to do it differently. Right? Because sometimes people look at signs like that, like, oh, okay, it's just time to start something new. It's just time to start a new chapter. That door is closed. Now I'm going to go do something else. So after 17 years of being in the industry, what made you want to continue to do it, but just do it on your own?
It's crazy that you say that because this wasn't what I started when I left the job. So 2 years before leaving the job, I got exposed to the network marketing industry. And even then, I felt blessed because I strongly believe where EmpowerYou is today is because of everything that I learned being in the network marketing industry. So, for example, 2 years before I left, I got involved with a company, amazing leadership. They teach you practically everything, how to build teams, how to build business, how to be a salesperson, but most importantly, how to serve others. So when the job basically let me go, that was really, okay, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to continue with what I got started 2 years ago? Or do I want to go back into the financial space? And honestly, I had already built a team 2 years in. So I felt the need to dedicate myself to that and basically grow it until God made me move again. So correct. I literally launched and built an amazing network marketing business 6 years in, multiple six figures, one trips, one cars, like all of the stuff that people don't even think is possible. But I'm like, you tell me what to do, you teach me, I'm a good student and I'll kill it. So did that, but not until February of 2020 is when I attended Extreme Execution with Eric Thomas. And it was like a small, like 30 people type elite level. That was the very first back then high ticket item coaching program that I ever participated in. And back then my late husband, like, I didn't even tell him how much it cost because he would have just been like, heck no, but we went anyways. And I went there to learn about the assessment, right? The flight assessment, understand how to communicate better, how to build relationships and understand people. And I'm like, okay, I think that's a skill set that's pretty important to learn. And thank goodness that I went there because yes, like hubby like literally dragged me to ET and he was like, look, she helping other people build their businesses in the network marketing industry, but she's got 17 years worth of financial education that she could be helping, like really helping people in her own way. And he looked at me and he was like, oh, you're going to figure it out. What was crazy is back then, hubby didn't know that on our way there, I was praying to God. And I was like, God, like whatever you have for me in that room, whatever you want me to do, like, tell me and I will follow. And so when that happened, I was praying that he was going to give me all the people and all the team and like all of it on how to build a business. But no, he just looked me in my eyes and said, you're going to figure it out. And I'm like, that's not really helping me right now. So guess what? The prayer back on the plane was like, okay, God, I learned about the pilot and the flight attendant and the grounds crew. I'm like, I know who I am. Send me the people who I need to build this thing. And if this is truly like where you want me to operate, where you want me to serve, then like you'll make it known. And I kid you not, 48 hours after landing, Telegram group, roll call, where are you from, blah, 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 blah. And then that's where I got connected with another extreme execution coach who literally lived 3 blocks down the street from me. And he was a grounds crew and an air traffic controller. And I thought, okay, God, okay. And then March 6, 2020, less than 30 days after, we launched EmpowerYou Financial, and here we are.
Wow, man. All glory to God first and foremost, and EmpowerYou. So take us through And again, and so for those of you watching and those of who've been following the podcast, you hear right now talk about the flight assessment all the time. And again, we're talking about these personality styles. And the more you are familiar and you build your own level of self-awareness is how you grow. And so it sounds like your late husband, he dragged you there, like he brought you in the room. And I just want to highlight two things before I get to this question. It kind of reminds me of kind of like Guy Holly, right? Shout out to Guy Holly, Access Grant Ed, one of our previous guests. I remember when he first joined the mastermind, right? He was trying to do all the different things. And then they're like, well, what do you do? What have you done? What do you do naturally?
Yeah.
And he said, well, grants. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, you got to do something in grants. And then back then he wasn't even sure what that looked like. And now he's flourishing. So kind of like your situation, it was like, well, your experience is in, the financial industry. So we got to do something there.
Absolutely.
Right? Do something there. So yeah, tell us a little bit about your family background, if you don't mind sharing, whatever you're comfortable sharing. Love to get to know a little bit behind the scenes of your support. And I think you said, your husband. So all the things.
Yeah, definitely. So to take it way back, I grew up in a single family household. My mom needed to be a workaholic. Dad was very rarely present. So it literally was just me. And again, God protected me because I could have been running the streets of the Bay Area, but I wasn't. But I learned early on the importance of being independent. Like my first job was at 15 and I've only had 3 jobs in my life. So 2 retail jobs and then the credit counseling job. But fast forward time, I met my husband at 17. We spent 24 beautiful years together. We have 3 amazing boys, 15, 19, and 22. And life happened. Life hit us. When COVID hit in 2021, both me and my husband got COVID really, really, really bad. And I just remember us being in separate rooms because he got it first and then I got it. And I just remember praying to God, like, I'm not going out like this. Like, I've got work to do. And it's crazy because, I know a lot of people who have suffered and passed from COVID. And when I hear other people talk about it, I just remember that feeling of literally feeling like I was on my deathbed. And that was crazy in itself. But thank goodness I healed and I'm here. But unfortunately, my hubby got called home. And that was tough. That was tough. And again, just thank God for giving me the strength to get through that. But now I'm the only one. So I don't have no choice to be in the gutter. Like I've got stuff to do. Like I've got 3 boys to raise. I need to make sure they're taken care of. And most importantly, financial literacy is where it's at. Like you can have like all the life lessons, but we need to learn how to manage our money, manage credit, all of that to be able to not just learn the fundamentals, but to create that generational wealth and really put my kids in position where when I was growing up, I didn't have that type of financial literacy in our house. So yeah, so it's been, it's been tough and it's crazy because I always get how did you do it? Like you are so strong. God held it all together for us. Like, yeah.
And what was your husband's name?
William Palacios.
All right. William Palacios. Yeah. She's doing her thing, bro. Yeah. All right, so just know he's smiling down. He's smiling. We're all smiling down. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Sis, I mean, I know, and that's where I was on to go. I was like, I want to know about EmpowerYou and everything else. But I think a lot of times we here on the road to results, we want to talk to people like life is going to life.
Absolutely.
Whether we want it to or not. And there's a certain space and place you have to be in. So people are going to say you're strong, but so many people have that moment where they're strong, but they're just almost like just holding on strong. And I would fair to say that you've gone beyond that of taking both the challenges of being in that career for 17 years and then, all right, hey, we don't need you because you cost too much, you expensive.
Basically,
to taking that step in faith, be like, okay, I know I'm good. I know I do cost, but not just doing that, but taking and put into a space where you're helping other people to prepare for a moment when life is gonna life.
Absolutely.
And if you can, I mean, because we've talked, a few, and I know some other things. It's not like it stops.
No.
Success for whatever measure doesn't shield you from life.
Correct.
And you've continued to grow, and we've ran into each other a couple of times, but it wasn't until like this last phenomenal life where it was like, okay, you're going through something again. There's like, we're in this community, we meet each other because I think majority of people that are in this community have gone through something significant.
Yeah.
And like, why is it so important for you to, because I know where your heart is when it comes to that, to help people. It's not about money, but it's about money. And I think it's more about stewardship of not just financials, but who you are. And if y'all can't tell, he was a natural flight attendant. She always has the energy. This is her on every call, so don't think it's her just interviewing for the pod. This is her on every phone call, every FaceTime, every time
all of it.
Conference. It's her all the time. So, but to steward who you are and the experience and talents God's given you to help those financially prepare, and go through moments. Like, why is that so important to you?
For me, it's being that real person, if you will, right? Because, you can see so much online. You don't know if it's real or not. And that's one thing that I've always made sure is to always operate in my authentic self, because at the end of the day, you strip it all. And at the end of the day, we're all human beings and we all have feelings and we're all going to go through some stuff.
Yeah.
But the real reality is I solely, wholeheartedly believe that when your finances have a good foundation, when life hits, it doesn't hit as hard. So let's take it back. In the last 4 years, I've lost my father, my husband, and my mother. Dad in 2019, hubby in 2021, last year, 2023, my mom. And they were all different situations.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I am so passionate to teach what I teach, because when life hits, emotions will kick in. And I always tell my mentees, do not make any financial decisions based on emotions, because they're going to be the most expensive. But when we don't have our finances together, our emotions kick in, and now we could be making some very expensive decisions, because when life hits, nothing matters. Money doesn't matter. The bills don't matter. Lights, like, we don't care, because we're going through the gutter. So at the end of the day, again, like, I strongly feel like he was preparing me from day one to learn all that I've learned, because of everything that I'm going to go through, been through, and what I'm still going to go through, right? But at the end of the day, it's giving the people the number one, man, she's been through some stuff. Like, if she can get through it, why can't I get through it? And if she has her finances together, or she's teaching the masses to get their finances together, then why can't I?
Yeah.
Right? Like, at the end of the day, like, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon. I didn't grow up having money. Like, I had my first job at 15 because I wanted to go to prom and nobody could get me a dress. So we're going to get a work permit. We're going to make this happen. Right? So crazy as it may sound, I want to be the real person that people can be like, oh yeah, I know her. And because of all the work that she's done and all the people that she's helped, I now can believe I can have what I desire to have too.
I love that. And let me just, before, because as a flight attendant, I got to make sure I get I clarify this, or at least get it out of my head. Well, for the record, when I was in prom, like, I had to sell candy to get my tuxedo rentals.
You see, let's go.
It's a flight
listen,
attendant thing.
we
I
gotta
had
do what we
to.
gotta do.
I was
We gotta be
fundraising,
in the
selling
room.
candy. I went to Costco. I was doing it. I was
Yeah,
doing
this
it.
is a flight attendant thing, trying to get a job so they can go to prom. I was like, I don't want to be around none of y'all. Yeah, school's out. No, I ain't going.
So
I was like, I ain't going.
yeah, so you just brought me back to my senior year, and I had the Chuck E. Cheese quarter dispenser on my hip because I was given change. You feel me? I had it all, anyways. But I want something that I caught that you just said. When life is life, and you lost some loved ones, and you're going through hard times. You're talking about it's one thing to have your finances together, and I thought where you were going was because then when you have to take care of different expenses, or you have to get on a plane and go, like, it's not a problem.
Absolutely.
For many people it's a struggle, but what you really said that I really loved was where you were like having the AQ, right? We talk about adversity quotient, so that you're not spending money recklessly, because how many times do people go through whatever they're going through and they just become reckless with their finances? Oh, just like YOLO, whatever, all the different things. So I love what you said there, and I'm sure this is something you offer in part of your coaching programs or your courses, is like not just learning how to build up your credit and your finances, but also knowing how to like build that endurance of discipline. Sounds like, again, it's a principle where it's like, we're not gonna be spending it and going all out just because we experience this or because we're going through that, which, like you say, many people like to treat themselves or do certain things. And I'm not against treating yourself or whatever, but I think if we're doing it in a hurtful or harmful way, in a reckless way, but people don't, what I'm saying, I don't think people even talk about that. I've never heard it in that frame before, so thank you for that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And this is what, the number one question I always get, oh, Eva, what's different between you and credit repair? The difference is you're working with a coach who has been through some stuff, but most importantly, I'm always a student. Like, I'm always a student, learning, growing, paying for elite level type coaching. Why? So I can take all of that information and pour it back into my people, but also take all of the good, the bad, and the ugly and to pour it back into the people so that they can be more aware on the moves they're about to make. Is it based on emotion? Is it with intention? Do we have strategy behind it? Because like let's really dig deep, right? Depending upon what personality you've got, if you suffer some type of hardship or tragedy, you're probably an emotional eater, or you're going to go spend money to put a Band-Aid on the gunshot wound, and it could really then spiral out of control. So why aren't we talking about those things? And this is the types of conversations I have with my mentees. It's not just, okay, numbers and this and that. It's no, let's dig deep and let's really understand what your relationship is with money so that I can give you the right game plan to get you to that next financial goal so that you can celebrate the win. Because yes, some of us, we need recognition and we need to celebrate along the way to keep our eye on the prize. Where others are like,
here's the thing though, you can't, like, you set them with the game plan, but see what came from me is like, but you also give them that financial fortitude.
Yes.
Right, that financial fortitude to go, okay, here's the plan. I'm not saying it's gonna be easy. Not saying this is gonna be quick. It's gonna take some time. So your community and, again, the coaching and all the other things that you're repairing, right? That would be my answer to that. Like, oh, what's the difference between you and credit repair? Because I don't repair just credit.
Right.
Yeah, I would say it's literally in her company's name.
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference between you and credit repair? Like, they're going to repair what is wrong currently. I'm going to empower you to fix and sustain.
That's right.
It's not about me hyping me up as an Eva. I can do this for you. I'm going to teach you and show you all the ways. That way you are empowered to not only help you, but now you can help your family. You can help other people in your community. And that's that heart of service that I think this community and people, all of us have. And I think that's why yes, hardships, they suck. In the moment, they suck. But when you are financially straight, because that's my dad passed in 2021 as well. Same thing from COVID. It's I was in a financial position that I was literally the only option in my family to bring my mom out here to Texas to take care of her, even though the rest of the family is also in Cali. So, yeah, I'm not a Niners fan, but I am rooted in the West Coast. But no, I just think it's so important that people understand that it is to empower you.
Yep.
To fix and repair that, but also so that you have a foundation that creates options. Because that's all it is. It doesn't shield you from anything. It just gives you options when life hits.
Absolutely.
I mean, so because me, that was like, I love flight attendants. They're going through the experience and I'll explain all these other things. I'm like, you empower them. I empower you. Not, I don't empower, but I empower you. What's the difference? They're going to repair. I'm going to empower you to do this for yourself and then for anybody else that you choose fit within your circle of influence.
Absolutely.
Because those are truly the, when you said generational wealth, those are truly the trajectory or changes for families. Like that is the change. That is the detour of where your family's always gone to where your family could potentially go.
Absolutely.
Empowering them to understand, how do you do this? Not just doing it for them, but showing them how to do it. That way they can show their parents, their siblings, their kids. Yeah. And that's the most important piece, because now it's like, I've changed this. The change agent was the word I was looking for of your family financially, because you went and got yourself educated on how to do it and just didn't pay for somebody else to do it for you.
Correct.
Not to say you can't pay people to do some things for you, but
yeah.
No, I love it.
And that's exactly where EmpowerYou came from, because teach a man to fish.
Yep.
Like at the end of the day, it's what are we learning by paying somebody to do it for us? And for something like this that is so crucial in every person's situation, no, like there's a reason they don't teach this in schools. There's a reason, like, you can't just walk on the street and go into a store and get this information. So it's, who are you willing to learn from to be able to break down those barriers, to change the financial trauma, right? Because I'm pretty sure somebody was raised in the household like mine. We didn't talk about money. If we asked it how much you made, you get bopped in the head. We definitely weren't talking about credit scores, that's for sure. So why aren't we having these types of conversations at the dinner table? Oh, put it this way, you hang out with me long enough at the house, all we're doing is talking about money, credit, building, the future, retirement. I mean, Mateo, like he's 15. The other day I posted on my social media, he comes at like 10:05 at night asking me, Mom, what's a 401k? And I'm like half asleep. I wake up. I'm like, oh, we want to talk about 401ks at 10 o'clock at night. Let's go. And then I'm like, wait, like, where did that come from? He was like, well, this guy on the internet on TikTok is talking about this. And I'm like, I am not going to allow the internet to teach my kids this stuff because there's so much out there. But it's also creating that safe space to be able to talk to our loved ones about it from an empathetic standpoint, from a factual standpoint, right? And that's super important too. So yeah, I mean, that's also something that you will find different in my program is the realness about, okay, this is something that you're considering to do. Let's talk about those financial options, and then you decide what's going to be best for you and your family.
Yeah, I love it. No, and when we think about it too, we look at like marriages and failed marriages, right? A lot of it is because of finances, right?
Yes.
You're having conversations that most people don't want to have because they don't have the language, and we talk about that all the time on this podcast. Learn the language. But once you learn the language, now we have to have the conversations. And if you don't have the EQ,
yep.
Right, if you don't have the understanding of yourself and with the flight assessment, and you don't have the tools to have the conversations with good information, then the conversation will never happen. And I think what's happening now is we don't lack information out there, which is why I really wanted to get to our audience to get to know you a little bit more on a more personal level, because we don't lack information. Now, of course, we can curate it and get a personalized game plan, but at the same time, it's who are you attaching yourself with? Right? Who are you trusting to help you get to the next level in that way? And just like how your son said he saw something on TikTok. Yeah, there's, again, it's everywhere. But now it's like, okay, discerning who actually do I want to learn this from? And what does that look like? And then that's where it's the value that you bring. So I think that's something that's super important, because imagine if all the families, even now, even adult children talking to their parents still struggle to talk about money.
Absolutely.
No matter what it is, there's always going to be that, you know, like for a lot of people in our generation. So we can break that now and have those conversations. Now, Danielle's very big on that. Like, she checks Aja's credit, and like she got all the things. She checks her bills, like she's on top of her. That's that direct pilot. So she, you know, she's one. But like when we, like I tell, you know, people on the pod, when Danielle and I first got together, we were about to get married, she asked me straight up, like, what's your credit score? I was like, what?
Yes, let's go.
I was
I'm like, are you interested in me? Let's do a credit consultation right quick.
And then she was like, and then the next question, and she was straight faced too. We were in Vallejo, and she was, and we're in the garage, and I'm like, I'm already flustered because, you know, I'm like, I don't talk about that stuff. And then she was like, how much debt do you got?
Oh, I love
no
it.
lies. Facts.
She's my spirit animal. I swear, she's my spirit animal.
But what she said though, here's the thing that was the best part. I left, I ran off, and I was like, yo, who told you this? And she told me when I was like, oh, he's not going to be in the wedding. Like, I was in my feelings. And then I come back, and she's still in the same spot. And her whole thing was, like, I'm not mad at you for whatever you got, because this is all before me. I just need to know how I can help you.
Ooh, so good.
He's like, we about to be married. We about to be one. So I just need to know, how can I help? Like, whatever is done is done. But see the perspective, right, and the mindset, and she was, you know, and her personality style, like a high pilot, just very direct. Like,
let's like, oh, that's what you got? Psh, no problem, I got it. Let's go. Get to work. Get to work.
Exactly. But I think, again, what you have going to EmpowerYou is definitely a great program. And now that we're hearing the origin stories. And that's really what I was hoping to get today, was just a little more of the origin stories for you, so that when we do share all that you have on social and on YouTube, that people understand, like, this isn't just credit repair, if that's what some people think, right? Like, this is way more than even just financial literacy. So, road to results. All right, that's the name of the pod. Obviously, you sounded like when you transitioned out of your 17-year job and you were in the marketing company, and then you said, you know, I'm going to stick to these principles. And it seems like the principles, and of course our faith, are the things that have gotten you through the storms and through the hardships.
Yep.
What would you say for our listeners when it comes to principles would be like your top, I don't know, 2 or 3 principles when people are on that road to their results and they're going through the struggles or going through the ups and downs? Like, what were some of the principles that you learned through your previous companies or through the leaderships that you've been through that really kept you moving forward and kept you, you know, again, just kept you moving forward?
Definitely. Well, first and foremost, God, and not even just him, but surrounding yourself amongst other godly people, right? Your vibe attracts your tribe. So we all know you become the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So it's really, what is your environment? What is your environment? Because your environment, your tribe, your community, like, when the times get tough, they're the ones that are going to, you know, pull you from jumping off the ledge. Like, let's be real. When times get tough, who's going to reach out to you when you don't even ask for help? They just know. Just know. That's right. That's right. But for real, like, those are the people that you want in your corner. When something's off with you, you don't even have to say it. They just reach out. And it's like, okay, that definitely is what I recommend people have. But number 2, one of the things that I live by, and I will always constantly preach, never sacrifice integrity for growth. There's a lot of people in this world that are doing things for the wrong reasons. usually it involves money, and they're sacrificing their values, they're sacrificing their name, they're sacrificing themselves. And you have to really like dig deep and find out like and understand like why. For me, like you will always, like you hang around with me long enough, like you will always know I don't do it for the money, I do it for the people. It's always people over paychecks over here. Why? Because I know God's got me. And as long as I keep doing what I'm meant to be doing on this earth, he's always going to take care of us. So, yeah, keep whoever you do business with, whoever you want to build relationships with, make sure you're in alignment. Make sure you share those common core values, because when you align yourself with the right people in the right environments, the blessings are going to come.
Average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. What does your community look like?
My
And I had to bring it back up. I think we
Bye.
talked about it. And I want y'all to understand how serious this is. And you obviously don't have to use a name, but you shared some with me last week, or maybe a little bit shorter than that. But and I'm just going to bring this piece up. This is why it's so important. We're not just talking. Okay, I think sometimes people think of financial literacy as like, okay, I just need to understand. I need to understand money. It comes down to stewarding. And these are some hard lessons that I've had to learn on the financial side, and even currently, like stewarding what you have, but also stewarding your personality and who you're naturally gifted to be. And when you understand that about the people around you, and you know that people come from a place in a heart space of they just want to help you. And this is where, like, okay, the pretext, yes, if you understand the story of the Tower of Babel, but Genesis 11:5. But the Lord came down to look at the city and the tower the people were building. Look, he said, the people are united and they all speak the same language. After this, nothing they set out to do will be impossible for them. When you get in the right environment with people that you can speak the same language with, you get your credit coach and you start understanding how this is not just about repairing your credit, but empowering you to change the trajectory of your family, being that change agent for those you love and hold near and dear to you that are going to be here after you. You understand it's not impossible for you to do anything. God sees that. And if you can't see that by jumping into a community and trusting and taking that step of faith and be empowered to change those things that you know are necessary, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And it's not just about you. If nothing changes for you, nothing's going to change for your kids. Nothing's going to change for your grandkids. But knowing that someone, they said, like, even make sure that she understands that people know who she is and where her heart is. And she's been through some transitions, some heartache and some pain in life. And she knows how important this is. So that's why her heart is in that space to change others. And if you want to share as much as you can about that text you shared, it's like, you're literally helping people, not just financially, but some people are making some decisions or thinking about making some decisions off of something that's temporary.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you just a little bit about that if you're able to. I just want people to understand like the depth of this and what it does.
Absolutely. And it comes down to like, you don't know what you don't know. And when we're put into tough situations, we react. And when we react, that's where it becomes expensive. And this is where, like, I always tell my community, like, this is a safe space. Like, whatever you've got going on, I 99% of the time believe you don't have anybody that you can talk to that won't prejudge you or won't, like, make you feel some type of way. So, like, let me be that person. Just to make sure, like, whatever move you're about to make, is it good? Great. It may very well be. Perfect. But if not, wouldn't you want to know whether or not there's other options that could prevent the situation, maybe lessen the blow? Maybe there's other alternatives that won't cost you as much or you won't lose as much. And really, it is about having that community and that safe space. You know, I want to be what I didn't have growing up. And thank goodness I landed the job and I stayed there for 17 years. Because now I tell everybody around me, I'm like, if you are in my circle, there should be no reason why you're not confident about money. There should be no reason why you can't foresee the next 5, 10, 15 years of your financial future. And I think this is the hardest part, is a lot of people have so much pride or they don't want to be judged. But if we don't break that now, what is life going to look like a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? We got to have the conversations. And that's all it is. It's a conversation. Just because I have a conversation with you doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do what I tell you to do. I mean, chances are, if you do, it might be better, right? But just having the conversation and see what happens. Me, I have conversations, hundreds of conversations all day long. And I'm just hoping like, hey, like, let's throw out, and let's see like what gets landed where. But if you've got me in your corner, there should be no reason why to be stuck in a bad financial situation. No reason.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, no, I know one of the things that we shared during our first consultation was about the Fab Five. All right, I'm not going to give it away because you got to get a part of the community,
That's the
y'all.
secret sauce.
That's the secret sauce right there. All right, so we talk about Fab Five. We're not talking about people in this case. We're talking about credit cards, companies, banks, and there are a Fab Five. And when you were just sharing even with Danielle and I the information, and again the new information, because like I would tell Danielle like, yo, I know she knows, like generally speaking, she's up on game. But I said talking with you is going to at least keep us up to date with the language and just to let us know that anything changes, because she still has the same principles pretty much in alignment with what you do, but you have the extra experience that can actually bring an added perspective so that we can move things a little faster. So real quick, before we end this time, because I know we can go all day.
We can go all day.
I love for folks to know. So what are your current offers? Like, what are the things that you have going on or do you have coming up that you'd like to announce now? I know you got the financial planner, which is fire. Yes. Danielle got it downstairs. That financial planner. You have Money Mondays. But yeah, if you want to just take us through, what are some of the ways people can connect with you? What are some of the programs that you're offering or about to offer, just so for those who want to make 2024 different financially in their perspective and their mindset, and want to have that financial fortitude and the information, let the people know what's the best way to connect with you.
Definitely.
If you don't want to be broke no more in 2024, you better write every single one of these things down.
Definitely. So first and foremost, you can find me all over social media. Facebook, Eva Empowers, Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I've got 130 podcast episodes that people are sleeping on, where I'm literally talking credit game. Like the Fab Fives are in there. You go find them. But first and foremost, my website, evaempowers.com. And my offerings, I offer a one-on-one credit consultation. So for those who need help cleaning up, rebuilding, but most importantly, really understanding how that mathematical FICO score works and why you have amazing payment history, but you can't break into the 800 club, you need to be in that session. And then I've got my coaching programs. I've got different levels of programs, but my elite level is my 12-month coaching program. And this is specifically for people who really want to master finances and really want to achieve some goals in the next 12 months, whether it's raising the credit scores, whether it's building business credit, whether it's buying the house, paying off debt. You're tired of paying these 20 and 30% interest rates. Can we consolidate? Can we balance transfer? Like, you've got me for 12 months to walk you through a series of financial goals. That's my bread and butter. The financial planner, definitely dope. When you purchase the EmpowerYou Financial Planner, it also comes with a 6-week Money Mondays classroom style program. So we actually just wrapped up week 5. We'll be, going into week 6, but you have access to all of the replays. And I'm just going to drop a little bit.
Come on, this is your time. Drop it.
What the future is going to look like very, very soon. The amazing feedback and the ability to speak with people weekly about their finances in the last 5 weeks we have had tremendous results in terms of people paying off debt, people making $1,800 within the first phone call, like people really transforming their financial lives because they have access to me 1 hour a week. Oh, yeah. The future is going to look like more
that was
of
going to be my
Eva
question.
guiding you.
Can you, that was going to be my next question. Would you mind sharing, again, you don't have to use any names, but what are some of the most recent or like success stories that you've had, you know, transformations that you've had, you know, within the last 5 weeks or just in general? If you could just share with us something that, you know, you just look back, makes you smile when you think about where they were or where that person was to where they are now, and just kind of share that. What happened? What was the transformation that you were able to be a part of and coach?
Yes. So to put it into perspective, the EmpowerYou Financial Planner is $72 with free shipping. And you get 6 weeks of me teaching a financial topic. In week 1, because I empowered people to make some phone calls, in week 1, one gentleman made $1,800 by asking for help. Asking for help. Let me give it to you. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of people get intimidated when it comes to money and finances, especially when you owe people money, AKA the credit card companies. So here's a tip for your audience. You can call your credit card companies and ask them to lower their interest rates. Yes, you can lower your interest rate, saving you money every single month from paying interest. Number 1. Number 2, if you have credit cards that you've been having for years, call them and say, hey, XYZ credit card company, I've had your account for over 5 years, excellent payment history, but I noticed in 2023, I paid close to $2,000 in interest. Can you do a one-time courtesy and maybe give me a credit on the interest that I've paid? One gentleman made 3 phone calls and made $1,800.
I love it.
Just by making some phone calls. And how long did the phone call take? No more than 5 minutes tops on each phone call. So you're talking 15 minutes, made $1,800, and the investment was $72 in time with me.
Come on.
And then, of course, other conversations are being with you and assign, because in my classroom, I'm assigning homework. Oh, it's not just me teaching. I'm also doing. A part of my January goal was, okay, you know what? If I'm going to tell people they need to cut back on eating out because their eating out bill is more than their rent right now, I'm not going to eat out. And sure enough, nope, no eating out. That's a whole nother topic. But at the end of the day, it's me being in the trenches with my students, not only teaching, but actually filling out the EmpowerYou Financial Planner so that they can hold themselves accountable. They can keep track of all of their expenses. And because now they're looking at money differently and understanding the language behind it, they're freeing up cash flow to pay off debt. One client was able to settle 2 accounts, saving himself 50% reduction, but saving close to $2,000. He paid $72 for my program and made $2,000. Are you kidding me right now?
Come on, again, I love it.
Who is teaching you this stuff? Me, hopefully.
Wow. Love it. And if y'all don't see the conviction and the passion behind Eva Palacios, then you got to just turn this live stream off, because it ain't for you, because I could feel that right now. And yes, and again, there's so much more, even just in the, I don't like to use the word consultation. I usually like the word the starting point, because that's what it was. After the meeting was a starting point. You're like, yo, this is just where we're starting at. And you were able to break that down. It was about almost an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. And so for those of you if anything, y'all get that one-on-one consultation to at least see where you're at and get started there. And then from there, you'll see how much value Eva brings. So Ray, man, final thoughts, bro, as we get ready to wrap up this fire episode. Again, Eva, thank you so much for being with us. I am always indebted and just loving being with you in all the ways. So Ray, bro, what's up, man? Final thoughts for our crew.
Nah, man, first and foremost, I just want to thank Eva for coming on here and pouring that out. I know she's always got she's got a productive schedule. Yeah. She was on a business call before this. She's hopped on to bless people with this information, but hey, it's nothing new that you haven't heard before. If nothing changes, nothing changes. Yep. And she's giving you the road to your financial results that you desire and that you want. But as right as you just said, like there's got to be a starting point. You have to go get in the vehicle. Yep. And you can go get in the vehicle and you can have a very experienced driver right here. Mm-hmm. You know, there's Eva Palacios at Eva EmpowerYou. Hey, go. Because you're not going to get to the destination by yourself. It's not. Plant those seeds that you know that you want to harvest. If you're struggling, you've always been struggling, make those changes. Eva, I'm going to be getting on with you very shortly after this. And because we don't say these things to you without saying them to ourselves, that you have to make the necessary changes if you want to see change in your life. Be the change agent. It's not about, it is about emotional intelligence. It is about doing the things that you said you were going to do. It is about it is all of these things collectively, but you have to be in the right community to harvest what you want out of your life. And as you encounter life struggles, financially shouldn't be one of those things that holds you back from mourning a loved one because you have to get right back to work. Yeah, that's real.
Yep.
That's a real thing. Like that shouldn't be a reason why you can't just be in the moment to celebrate, to mourn, to be with your family. And that is honestly, money is one of the biggest things that hold us back from it, but we don't talk about it because we're not educated, because we don't have the language. Yep. We can't build anything because we don't speak the language. If you continue on through that story about the Tower of Babel, it said, let us go down and confuse their language so that they can't build, because that's not what they were supposed to be doing. They did something amazing because they were able to communicate with each other, but that's not what they were supposed to do. So we're confused around money, so we're not able to build anything up. And we're going from paycheck to paycheck, struggling to pay back credit card interest. If you were confused and you didn't know where to go, this is where Ryan and I talk about. If you were confused, you are clear on where to go. You go from being confused to being clear to being convicted. You see the conviction in Eva's voice and her story and everything she's done for people, for herself, and for her family. But now you need to get the right coach. She is your credit coach. This is not a maybe. She is your credit coach. And for everything that she's offered in 6 weeks, $72, that is nothing. You're probably spending more on that in coffee in a week. Go sign up, save yourself, and build up your family. What doesn't get planted doesn't grow. Put your money in the right space, put your time in the right space, put your faith in the right person, and see what you can do to change your family's lives. Get the results, get on this road, start going. It's January 2024. Hey, let's not be broke no more in 2024. I don't want to be poor anymore in 2024. Get your credit score up in 2024. And let's go.
All of it.
Yes, I love you. I love you. Thank you.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, Eva, last words from Eva. We're going to let our guests get the last and final thought before we sign off. Anything else you want to add before we officially sign off this guy?
It's true. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So just know that the power is in your hands. You just got to make the decision. That's all it comes down to, is making the decision, committing until you get the results.
There it is. There it is, y'all. All right. So listen, it has been an amazing time. Again, this is just the first month of the first quarter of 2024. So stay tuned, because we are going to have more amazing guests on this podcast. And please be sure to stay connected with all of our guests so you can follow the journeys and follow their road to their results. So thank you again, sis, for being on with us. And like we always say, don't just go with us,
Grow with us.
Grow with us.
Did
Hold on,
she
we didn't
get
hear you.
muted?
I know. I wasn't sure if I should say it or Ray's
No,
gonna get it.
No,
She
what's
just,
up,
she just
Come
I
on,
whispered
don't
it.
just go with us.
This is not
Grow
Milli
with
Vanilli.
us.
This is not
Yes.
Milli Vanilli out here lip singing.
Grow with us. Yes. All right. Grow with us, y'all. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Till next time.
Love it.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye, guys.